Passengers are requested to proceed to gate 3 for boarding.
The flight number's underneath and it's not on there. Still evacuate, please.
They're all fighting over the mini egg.
It's 2014 and a busy year ahead.
All those passengers who have...
Cardiff Airport has been undergoing a major transformation. It's been spending the year modernising its operation. They've been updating the terminal buildings.
You obviously ate all the pizza.
Developing new routes and inviting their new owners to inspect the upgrade work.
It makes a big difference in terms of people's perceptions.
At the airport, normal operations must continue. There are sports teams to welcome, the fans that follow them,
Gets even better.
major events to plan for, and scheduled flights to welcome.
We've got everybody on board, so now we're ready for our night flight to Cardiff.
Filmed over 9 months and with access all areas, this is the story of the airport. Coming up, there's a special water salute as the Queen's Baton arrives at the airport ahead of the Commonwealth Games.
I wish I brought my coat.
We're inside the giant aircraft maintenance hangar as a brand new 777 arrives for its first-class fit-out.
I think I might have one of these installed in my office.
And the never-ending battle to keep the birds away from the airfield.
It's never going to go away. It's never going to be completed.
Cardiff Airport handles over 1 million passengers a year. Among them, many VIPs, high-profile visitors and international sports teams. Today, Airport Operations Assistants Christina Retter and Angela Summers will have their work cut out. In just a few hours' time, the Queen's Commonwealth Games Baton will arrive at the airport on a flight from Belfast. Waiting for it will be a high-profile reception and dozens of members of the media.
4 flights through now. This one's today, the VOE 9112.
But first, there's the small matter of processing thousands of French rugby fans, all heading for tonight's Heineken Cup final in Cardiff. Head of Terminal Services and Security Operations, Kerry Mashlin, has arrived to help out.
Down that way. Everyone's in good spirits, so we've got an additional 16 arriving flights. So it works out approximately an extra 5,000 passengers inbound and outbound.
Yeah, the French are here with their flags, and when they start singing, it's good atmosphere, it's a good buzz.
All going very well, all good, everyone's in good spirits. Bonjour.
Kerry's been brushing up on her French, but for AOA Christina, it's all a bit of a struggle.
The yellow circle, okay, thank you. Hi there. I didn't do French, I did German. I mean, if you brought some Germans in. Yeah, different. No, I wouldn't. I can't. Bonjour.
Despite the language problems, Christina seems to have been won over by the French fans.
Do you know what? I do like a French man. They're very handsome, aren't they?
And it seems they are equally taken by her.
Oh, do you know what? It's so romantic. It really is. I think I've fallen in love.
With so many passengers now arriving, the AOAs are keen to get as many people as possible with chipped passports to use the e-gates.
It's chipped, yes.
Kerry's struggling to find the French word for chip and falls victim to a practical joke.
Chip passports, that way down there. Lovely, treat. Chipped. Treat. Passports? Is it really chip?
Well, chip is...
Oh, of course! I'm not talking to you.
Cardiff Airport occupies a huge site covering some 313 acres. Dominating the airfield's western side is the vast British Airways maintenance hangar, one of the largest in Europe. Employing over 750 people, it's the dedicated service and maintenance facility for the majority of BA's fleet of long-haul aircraft. Today's engineers are eagerly awaiting the arrival of a brand new Boeing 777, the world's largest twin-jet aircraft. It's being delivered directly from Seattle in the United States. They'll have just a few days to completely fit out the prestigious first-class cabin before the plane has to enter service.
We've got the basis of a first-class cabin. Certainly haven't got the seats. We certainly haven't got the in-flight entertainment software loaded. Quite a lot to do at the moment. We're just trying to figure out...
Shift manager Ken York is in charge of making sure the work runs smoothly and is completed on schedule.
Part of the plan for the weekend going into Monday is to have the cabin complete with the first class and business class areas built up, to have all the in-flight entertainment loaded to the seats with a view of departing the aircraft on Tuesday.
With the engineers quickly getting to work on the bespoke first-class area, Ken is keen to inspect the other cabins, which were all pre-fitted to BA specs back in America.
This is our business class, so this is what British Airways deems as their club cabin. There's 56 seats in here. These are very, very highly occupied, so this is a very busy area for us.
Unknown to most passengers is that on board this 777 is another secret cabin solely for the use of up to 8 crew members.
Fully laden, you probably see 299 passengers. We probably have around 13 crew servicing those passengers throughout the cabins. The crew get fatigued, just like our passengers do. And what you'll find is on certain flights, we will take more than one crew. So you might have 2 sets of pilots, first officers on board. It's what I call my secret escape. It doesn't encroach on the footprint of the aircraft. It's quite basic, very cosy, but we've got the capability of actually 8 crew sleeping in separate beds. So we've got 8 beds in this configuration.
There's also another hidden cabin for use by pilots when they're resting. With comfortable bucket seats, beds and its own toilet, it's a place to escape to for a few hours. When flying from one side of the world to the other, these rest areas are essential.
It's an area where they can actually come to refresh themselves and recharge their batteries in order to do the next serving.
For the last 7 months, Cardiff Airport has been undergoing a big improvement programme. The terminal has had a major facelift with improved facilities and a new state-of-the-art security hall. Now construction work is entering the final stages, with contractors close to completing work outside the terminal building.
There used to be a roadway right up to the front of the terminal for drop-off many years ago, but the events of 9/11 changed things, that we're having to move vehicles back from the building.
Manager Jason Coleman has been heavily involved in the design and layout of the new concourse area.
And what we're going to have is a lot of block paving walkways, some flower beds on your right-hand side, some tree planters, seating area, so passengers can come and enjoy the front of the terminal before they go through the check-in process. We're on track with time frames. Yeah, really looking forward to the completion.
Back in arrivals, the French Heineken Cup fans have all left the terminal and are on their way to Cardiff.
Merci, just on the yellow circle.
Done.
Her colleague Angela is now turning her attention to a much bigger event.
The reception is actually in Gate 11 Lounge, is it?
The Queen's Commonwealth Games Baton is due to arrive on a flight from Belfast.
I finished 6:30 tonight, and then I'm back in at 4 in the morning. I'm helping a colleague so she can have Christina, so she can have the day off, so she can go gallivanting tonight. Little party animal, Christina.
At Gate 11, the media have gathered ahead of the plane's arrival. Marketing manager Cassie Houghton has the job of ensuring the airport makes the most of the publicity opportunity.
We're having a little bit of a reception down here just for all the media really ahead of the Baton arrival. It's great in terms of exposure for the airport, it's great in terms of preparations for our team, getting ready for the bigger events that are coming. So yeah, a good day.
In air traffic control, it's a busy morning too. With an additional 16 flights for the Heineken Cup already processed, the arrival of the plane carrying the Queen's Baton comes at one of the busiest times of the morning for controllers in the radar room.
Jersey 9 Tango Papa report, heading to Cardiff Radar 119.150.
It's got 93 miles, so it's going to be about 10:03, I would say.
At the British Airways maintenance hangar, engineers are continuing to install the first-class cabin in the brand new Boeing 777. While work continues inside, inspections are now being carried out on one of the aircraft's two giant engines. The General Electric GE90 is the largest engine in aviation history.
It's a monster engine. It's about 7 tons in weight. 4 or 5 normally family saloon cars worth of weight in that one engine. The actual diameter is bigger than a Boeing 737 cabin.
Drains are all clear.
The engineers are scrutinising every part of the giant engine to ensure no damage has been sustained during its flight from America.
We'll do the general servicing like you would with your car. We'll do the oils, the filters. Just had an 8-hour flight. All's looking good. All levels are good.
All's good.
No evidence at all of any external leakage.
The huge engines are immensely powerful. In the unlikely event that one needed shutting down mid-flight, the 777 could continue flying for several hours on just one engine.
For this engine, we're looking at about 115,000 pounds of thrust. But this engine was bench tested. I think it holds the world record at the moment for something like 128,000 pounds of thrust. Well under its maximum operating margin anyway, so there's always that factor of safety built in.
At Gate 11, the excitement is building, with the imminent arrival of the Queen's Commonwealth Games Baton. Awaiting its arrival are dignitaries, members of the media, and the airport's chief executive, John Horn.
I think it means a lot. I think it means a lot for sport. It means a lot for us here at the airport. And, it's a great lift, great honour.
With the plane now on its final approach, the airport's fire engines take up their positions on the runway and prepare to give it a very special welcome salute.
That's one of an airport traditional way of saluting an aircraft and something on that's special and prestigious.
It's here, finally arrived. 5 minutes earlier, so which is great. I'm wet, as you can see. I wasn't prepared, but hey-ho.
The Baton's travelled on a scheduled flight from Belfast, and before it can be brought off, the passengers must disembark first. Finally, with the plane empty, Wales gets its first view of the Baton. It's been travelling around 70 nations and territories across the world since October last year. Sports Minister John Griffiths is there to formally welcome its arrival.
I think it's a fabulous opportunity to put Wales on show to the world and to reinvigorate interest in getting active and playing sport here in our country.
Despite the wet weather, everyone is pleased with the event's success.
I mean, it worked really well. Minister arrived, plane arrived, it all came together.
I wish I brought my coat.
Cardiff Airport welcomes passengers from all around the world, with around 50 direct flights and 900 connecting destinations. Now the airport wants to maximise the island link and promote routes that connect to American cities and allow passengers to pre-clear US customs in Dublin. Cassie, Paula and Sarah from the marketing and commercial departments are travelling across the Irish Sea for an important meeting with an airline.
We are going to Dublin and we're going to talk to them about our latest sort of marketing plans and also the sales initiatives that Sarah's working on, and just build some relationships really and get to know people better.
As they head for their flight, Sarah and Paula make it through the new electronic security gates without any problems. But no such luck for Cassie.
Help! Help! Don't film me, Help!
Luckily, she works out the problems with her phone, and she's soon on her way.
Yay! Woo. It worked. Thank you.
As they board the plane, Sarah would prefer to be keeping her feet firmly on the ground.
Sarah's not a good flyer.
You're gonna have to hold your hand.
Less than an hour later, they've touched down at Dublin Airport and are making their way to the terminal building. The airport here is vast, with up to 600 flights a day and 20 million passengers passing through its doors each year.
Well, Well, it's a hub. It connects on to the United States, so that's really important for us. When you fly from Cardiff to America via Dublin, you get to clear American customs in Dublin Airport. It's generally much quicker because there are fewer people and there's not such a big queue. Once you do that, you're through and you're in US airspace technically, and you can have a cup of coffee and then get on the bigger plane to New York, Boston or Chicago or wherever it is you're going.
As the team departs the terminal, there's an unexpected opportunity for Paula to tell some American golfers what Wales has to offer.
But I thought you spoke a really funny language.
We speak Welsh and English. It's not a funny language. It's a wonderful language.
I said it didn't have any vowels in it.
It's got a few, but you know, we're not over generous with them.
Back in Cardiff, Aerodrome Environment Officer Richard Bailey is battling a problem that will never be solved. All airports must deal with the threat of bird strikes, and the relationship with birds is particularly important at Cardiff, given its close proximity to the sea.
Gulls are a big problem to us. We've got a gull roost out in Baton in the channel. Fortunately, we haven't got landfill sites locally anymore. But obviously we have to try and identify the routes any birds would take to their feeding and roosting sites.
Today, Richard is leaving the airfield. He's on one of his regular patrols to check local sites that are known to attract birds.
A lot of people like to see the wild birds. I like to see wild birds in the right context. But if it's becoming a serious issue, we would try and help with solutions.
First stop will be a quarry just half a mile from the runway, where Richard regularly finds hundreds of ducks and geese.
There is no birds there at all today. That is quite strange. I would say somebody's upset them earlier.
Pyrotechnics are a common tool for scaring birds. This technique is used not only on the airfield, but also at sites like the quarry.
If we scare the birds from here, they'll normally go to the coast. That's a heron going across the quarry there now. There's a goose there somewhere. Just heard it. Every bird is an issue to us, but Canada geese are probably my biggest worry. We're all aware of what happened with the aircraft that landed in the Hudson in New York, and they believe that that was caused by Canada geese. Took out both engines, and very, very lucky people.
Now happy there are no issues at the quarry, Richard heads off to a nearby wetlands area, which is within sight of the airfield.
There's a fishing lake just behind the trees in the distance. There's two fishing lakes here. Canada geese come on the lakes in buzzards. Big bird, bit of a worry close to the airport, but they fly virtually on their own, so it's lesser target.
Each year there are nearly 1,500 bird strikes recorded in the UK, with 3 planes a week sustaining damage. It's important that Richard monitors the local area on a daily basis, but today there's nothing for him to worry about.
It's quite a quiet day today for birds.
Back at the vast maintenance hangar, a team of highly skilled engineers is fitting out a brand new Boeing 777. The plane, which has been delivered directly from Seattle in the United States, must enter service in just a few days' time.
We're in the middle of fitting the prime seat, which is the first class seat. The seat itself does recline obviously into a bed. In the privacy surround, you've got a 15-inch screen. It is quite luxurious.
The race is now on to ensure that first flatbed seat is installed before the end of the shift. With seat 4K finally complete, shift manager Ken York is the first to try it out, and he's suitably impressed.
Absolutely, I think I could probably live here. I think I might have one of these installed in my office.
With the plane's maiden voyage to Mumbai due in less than a week, Ken is confident the work will be completed on time.
We've still got the last bits and pieces going on around the cabin. We will work until the end of shift, but absolutely, we will make the deadline in 6 days' time.
In Dublin, Cardiff Airport's marketing and commercial teams are meeting an important airline partner. They're bringing them up to speed on the improvement works back in Cardiff, and also exploring ways to promote routes via Ireland which connect Wales to American cities.
No, good to finally meet you. So
Yeah.
thank you for having us.
No problem.
With pleasantries out of the way, Paula is asked to provide an update on all the changes that have been happening back at Cardiff.
There's been a real programme of improvement going on over the last sort of 15 months, I'd say. I think the perception was that Cardiff Airport was going nowhere. All of those negative preconceptions we are now overcoming by making these improvements.
Always enthusiastic to promote Cardiff Airport, Paula is now in full flow.
So we wanted to make it a real content-rich page for each destination. New York, Paris, Dubai, Germany, Jersey, Amsterdam and Edinburgh. But we're also going to have user-generated content. I think you get a lot done in the space of an hour or two, where it might take you days to get to that point if you were doing it remotely. And I think it was a chance for us to tell her about all of the changes at Cardiff Airport and just to talk about future plans and ideas. It was really good.
The team just has time to call in on one other airline, based just around the corner. After briefing staff at Stobart Air, it's the end of a long day and time to head back for their flight to Wales.
We are a bit tired, but we've still got enough energy to have a little look around Dublin Airport and, you know, see if there are any hints and tips we can take back to Cardiff.
Aerodrome Environment Officer Richard Bailey is still on his regular bird monitoring patrol. So far, it's been a quiet day, but there's one place he knows where he'll definitely find plenty of birds.
We're about a mile in distance from the end of the runway, so this area is something we have to monitor. We don't see a lot of swans over the airport. They are a big bird, they would cause us issues, but fortunately they tend to stay put because they're so well fed.
Richard's battle with the birds is an ongoing one. He knows it's a problem that can never be completely solved.
It's bird control. If you move them on often enough, hopefully they get the idea and move somewhere else. It's very difficult, it's never ending, because you just, I don't know, perhaps you can't educate birds, or there's so many of them and they're moving around all the time. It's never going to go away, it's never going to be completed.
Next time at the airport, work begins on building a new temporary terminal for the NATO summit.
It's a lot more than your normal construction project, building a small airport in 2 weeks.
An unexpected passenger struggles to get away when staff can find no sign of his booking.
Basically said there's no trace of me on the system at all.
And there's a problem in the security hall as a new baggage rack forces the closure of an X-ray machine.
I know it should be raised, so I don't know what's happening.